be four betting because I think he'll be calling a good amount. Although, we should have a good deal of folding equity in a four bet pot, but I just decided to go ahead and fold against this guy. And we're still playing just very very snug and pretty just straightforward so far with regards to playing pre-flop and stuff like that. We've made some advanced plays post-flop, but only when we really saw a good reason for them. And I bet 28 into this flop because it is pretty dry, and I've been betting 32 in the other flops when I 3-bet, but I thought I didn't need to bet quite as much on this flop. And he calls pretty quickly. What do I think he has here? Any pocket pair, any pair, ace high, occasionally 10 sometimes. I do think if he had a 10, he would probably be just calling on the flop. I don't think he'd be raising. And then queen hits, which is pretty good card for me. It gives me a good semi bluff. It gives me a good semi bluff, and it's also just a good card for my range, which again is perceived as very very tight with respect to 3-betting. And he actually hasn't even seen a single one of my hands that I 3-bet showdown, so he really has no idea what I've been 3-betting with, but he does know that I've been very tight with it, so he's going to assume that I have a very, very strong range. And because of that, I decided to just go ahead and stick it in. Because his range, he's been seeing a flop to every single one of my 3-bets, even though I've been super tight. So he has to think that when he's doing that, I'm just going to be re-raising only my monster hands. So I go ahead and shove it in on the river there, and I expect to be snap called by a still playing 10 some of the time, or if he had something like pocket 9s, might look me up some of the time. But in general, his range there is just pretty weak, where mine is going to be just a lot stronger than his. So I decided to just go ahead and shove all in there. I'm going to actually end it there. And I like to just go over how we kind of let this guy run us over a little bit. He was definitely the determining how the match went, with regards to like pre-flop and stuff. He was he started off really tight, and then he loosened up. He changed gears pretty well. In the beginning, he was opening every button and playing no pots out of position. In the end, if you see his stats, he's only stealing 82% of the time, and but he's calling pre-flop raises actually at 40%, which is pretty loose, and he's 3-betting 20% of the time, or 18. But those are both pretty high numbers. So he definitely loosened up quite a bit, and he was definitely like the aggressor pre-flop and stuff, and it sort of puts him in that mindset that he's going to be running us over, and he needs to keep doing that and we're going to keep folding to it, and he's going to pick up a ton of pots that way. But we just kind of sat back, relaxed, and kind of let him play into us, and then we selected a couple spots to go ahead and 3-bet him with well disguised hands, and then eventually just any good hand that I had because he was just calling so much. And then we were able to just 3-barrel him in those 3-bet pots. which was pretty good because we were deep, and it just worked really well because we have such a strong perceived range against this guy. We've been playing pretty snug against him, so he really it's really a hard situation for him to be calling down three barrels in a 3-bet pot when our range to him just looks like real big pocket pairs or big high cards and stuff, and he can't really ever be sure about his marginal hands. So it's really good to keep your image in your opponent's eyes in your mind and using it to exploit things that way, as well as see just it's not a terrible thing to let some guy try to run you over, and go ahead and fold to a decent amount of 3-bets if he's gonna just keep 3-betting you. Just pick your spots really well and throw in some good bluffs and stuff. I think we floated with Ace Queen pretty successfully. I say that because he called and he kind of caught us on our bluff, but we haven't had the best hand. But I would have expected that bluff to work a very good amount. What else? In the beginning, I made that hero call that I was wrong with the king high, but I still really don't mind that play because I really think that his hand range on that river is very weighted towards missed draws and like Jack 3 and like 10-3. Not even so much 10-3. I just really think it's weighted a lot towards missed draws or like Jack 3, and I just really couldn't see that in his range, and but he wound up having it, and there was also the Queen 10 hand where he raised the turn. If you remember, actually, I'm just gonna pause the video and bring it up in Poker Tracker. Okay, I brought the hand up, and he goes ahead and raises. We call with Queen 10, pretty standard. He lets the flop check through, and I bluff on the turn, and he raises, and that's just a huge mistake against anyone who's decent, because his range for when he checks back the flop, it's really not going to contain a flush draw very much at all, or a very strong hand. Whereas we can definitely have that, and when he checks back the flop, it really puts a cap on the strength of his range. Whereas we are still capless. We could have the nuts here, and he almost certainly can't have the nuts. So we just go ahead and 3-bet because he can't have that strong of a hand, but we can, and we go ahead and 3-bet, and he gets stubborn, and he pulls a call, and then we just shove on the river, and I expect that bluff to be very profitable against. To have that bluff be profitable, you need to be doing it against someone who can read hands. I would not. There's plenty of brain dead monkeys that are raising that turn when they hit their ace 10, and they're never going to fold it because they just turned aces, and they don't want to fold top pair like that. But you have to pull stuff like this against someone who is thinking, and apparently not that well, because they wouldn't be representing a hand like that, especially with such a small raise like that. It just really invites people to go to town on you bluffing. So I really thought that was a pretty interesting hand too. It's definitely something to think about when people are doing lines that really aren't credible. You don't. We didn't have anything. We had Queen 10. Our cards really didn't matter at all, but we could just represent such a much stronger range than he has. And I did think this was early in the match where he did actually have a fold button, and we had a very, very solid image at this point that I just really thought that the bluff was going to work, so I decided to just go ahead and do it with any 2 cards, and I think it was a pretty cool spot. So hopefully you guys like